Hello friends, welcome back to another video. As you can remember that in the last video we have disassembled the carburetor, and now it's time to acquaint ourselves with the various parts. Now I'm holding in my hand the carburetor and this is the forward facing direction, which means that this is what is facing towards the front of the engine. If I turn it a bit left, I can see all the mechanism. This is the throttle cable as I'm moving that, and that activates a valve which is present inside this place, which opens the inlet for the supply of air. And what you can see over here, this is a mechanical membrane which runs on vacuum pressure. So what happens is it is connected via this line here, which means what happens is when there is a lot of vacuum generated inside this compartment, that is when the throttle is wide open and there is a lot of air being sucked in at higher RPMs, then this pulls a membrane inside this, and that membrane is connected via a linkage to the secondary throttle cable. As you can see, it is pretty jammed because it hasn't been used in a very long time. Yes, because it has never been serviced, that thing has jammed closed. And this is the choke wire, choke linkage. I'm sorry, yes, this is the choke linkage. And this one that you can see here, which has a feed pipe coming in, is for the AC. What happens is there is a pipe which goes from the intake manifold into a relay, into a switch which opens when the AC is turned on. When the AC is turned on, because the intake manifold has vacuum, it also transmits vacuum into this another bell chamber. As you probably guessed, yes, this, because of the vacuum, it pulls this thing which opens the accelerator a bit further, and the level of opening of the accelerator is controlled by this screw here. Yes. And apart from that, this is the activation for the accelerator pump to work, which also obviously runs off vacuum and is activated only when when you have large vacuum pressure. And coming to the back, you have this as the solenoid switch. This solenoid switch cuts off the fuel supply when the engine is turned off. It's just a magnet which blocks the petrol intake when the engine is turned off, and when it is turned on, it's moved back, and so petrol flows easily. Now we have the carburetor in our hand, and I have soaked it in diesel for one night. Yes, the reason behind it is that all the dirt that is accumulated over the years, it clogs up and hardens to form a solid material which is hard to remove. And you could use any oil based compounds, any oil based liquids such as paint thinner, turpentine oil, petrol, diesel, or even cooking oil, engine oil, brake fluid, name it. Not the coolant though, coolant is water based. So you can use any one of them, and I found that diesel was the cheapest available for me, and so I have soaked it in diesel. I've soaked the carburetor in diesel for one night, and today we are going to open that. A quick look at how the diesel has become from overnight soaking. As you can see, it has become dirty and accumulated quite a lot of residue. And now looking at the carburetor, this is the front side of it, and As you can see, you still have this membrane for the secondary valve opening, and then you have this acceleration pump, you have the float in here, and you have the solenoid valve here, you have this membrane which controls the AC. Yes, pretty much everything is intact. So let's start removing. Instead, I'm proceeding with removing the top part of the carburetor. So here is how it's done. I've loosened the screws a bit, and now I'm going to do the actual process of removal. So okay, so now I have removed all the screws attaching that are connecting the top half, and placed here, and two separate screws are for the um, AC valve. Yes, and so putting it to the left, you can see that the AC valve is connected to the accelerator cable in the back. So quick I'm going to remove this. Okay, now after removing all the screws, the top part is coming off, so it's time to remove the connectors, which you can see from the side. This is the membrane cum mechanism to open the secondary valve. While that is fine, this holder for that membrane has a spring which is connected from here to here, which is at the back of the throttle cable. This is the throttle cable, as you can see, and to the back of it there is that spring. So we're removing the spring from the top part. Next, stop to the left beside here near the choke wire. This choke wire is connected via a mechanism to close the choke valve, so that needs to come off. We have two places to open it, either on the top or the bottom. It's a simple linkage. Removing it, we are going to remove that. Next stop is to remove from the left side the membrane which connects the secondary throttle input from the main body, and then you're ready to lift it out. The only thing that that's holding it is this vacuum hose which drives the accelerator pump. So we'll remove that as well, which is remarkably easy. And then your top half of the carburetor is exposed. Here, quick walkthrough. This is the float which regulates the flow of petrol into the chamber, and here is that chamber. and this is the secondary valve, and this is the primary venturi or valve or whatever.